Hello, everybody. Still have a couple minutes. Good evening. So happy we're all here. Yay. Okay. One more minuto, and then we will get started. All right, that was the longest minute of my life. Welcome, everybody, to today's session. We are at session number 6. Oh my goodness, how did that even happen? But here we are. Thank you for listening, for tuning in, whether you're here live, so grateful to have you, or you are listening to this whenever. It's the perfect time. Always trust that. Let's tune in, and then we'll do some housekeeping. So just take a moment for yourself. So there's one thing to turn on the computer or the phone and, sit down to receive this session. And there's another thing to really be in your body and allow yourself to fully open to not only the surface of what is discussed during the session, but the subliminal and sometimes subtle energy that can actually be transmitted even through a screen. So unless you're driving, just slowly soften your eyes. And wherever you are, if you're sitting on something that has a back, like a couch or a chair, maybe just for the beginning, you just shift your sitting bones forward a little bit so that you can elongate your spine vertically from your root all the way up to the crown of your head. Begin to observe the rise and fall of your breath. Perhaps you can even locate where it is in your body. Is it deeper toward your belly? Is it shallow in the chest? Is it quick? Is it smooth? And together, wherever you are in your breath pattern, take a deep inhale through your nose, fill up, pooling the energy at the belly all the way up to the crown of your head. Hold the breath in, full, full, full. Out of your mouth, exhale. Just get rid. Imagine with each exhale, you're getting rid of stress, distraction, whatever it is. We're going to do 2 more. So inhale into the belly, ribs flare open, chest expands, big, huge lungs, more energy for tonight. Hold. Let it go. Exhale through your mouth. Cleansing, clearing out space. And 1 more together. Inhale. Keep going. Holding at the top. Try not to strain your face. Exhale. And come back to your breath. You can open your eyes. And hopefully 3 deep breaths is enough to shift gears, to be here now. And guess what? You can apply this practice to anything in your life. We do so much in one day. I'll speak for myself that it's really nice to be here now for everything that you're doing. And whether it's a work-related experience or something with, a loved one or a family member or a friend, it's nice to take time, shift gears, and really get present so you can receive the most out of your experience. That being said, hello and welcome, my dear friends. Couple things before we pick a card tonight is I just want to make sure that you guys are opening up the emails that I send you after each session. I'm assuming you are, but I'm saying that because, first of all, as you probably can tell, an hour is not quite enough time to talk about something that can take several lifetimes to cover, right? Whether it's a topic of food, a topic of money manifesting, a topic of fitness or intimacy, relationships, so forth and so on. So I just want to make sure that you guys are reading the emails, because I do include, I had an interview after the first week with my friend Lindsay on detoxification, on the benefits of probiotics. I also had an interview after last week's session with a women's sensuality expert, a good friend of mine, Miriam Elise. So if you haven't, no worries, check your inbox. It's there. These are tools that you will have for life. These are tools that were given to me over 10 years ago when I started my journey, and to this day, I refer back to them. It's important to understand that after these 7 weeks, it's not like, okay, I listened to all the sessions, now my life should be perfect again, right? Well, first of all, you may realize that everything is already perfect in whatever it's showing up as, and you get to work with as opposed to against what is occurring. That being said, we're all on a different journey. We're all in a different phase in our lives. So I want you guys to like really treat the content, the recordings as like precious materials that you can store in your personal treasure chest or toolbox and come to it when you feel the time is ready. You know, it's postponing certain things is actually not a bad idea as long as you get to it eventually. That's my strong opinion. Anywho, that's my little background. Go to those emails. Listen. A lot of this stuff you can listen to while you're driving. You don't have to watch them. They are videos for the most part, but you don't have to. Also, there's been some guided meditations, a vocal yoga class that you can listen to and get into your body. So little tidbits, little snippets, so that you guys can feel fully supported, especially after the session. Okie dokie. Time to pick a card. Best part of the day. I actually feel like I want to shuffle these a tiny bit more. Okay. Literally a tiny bit. Shall we? I'm just going to intuitively feel into when you guys are like, oh yeah, that's the one. Oh, that? This one? No? Okay, got it. Oh my God, this is so weird, you guys. Okay. So last week, remember we were talking about sensuality and intimacy and relationships, and I was talking about Aphrodite. Well, she's a week late, but hey, here we go. Goosebumps. Okay. Whoa. Aphrodite, inner goddess. It says here, awaken. By the way, sorry to cut into myself, but I've never chosen this card. I've had this deck for like 5 years, never chosen this. Awaken the goddess within you through dance, self-care, and appreciating your divinity. You guys, today's session is all about self-love and self-care. Thanks, universe. Okay, let's read just a little bit more about Aphrodite, because she's absolutely going to set the tone for tonight's sesh. Where are you, Miss Aphrodite? Okay. Let this come into your being. Let this digest in whatever way makes most sense for you. Message from Aphrodite. Allow your inner feminine wisdom and dynamic beauty to rise to the surface. Cherish its power and meaningfulness. No matter whether your physical body is male or female, you have an inner femininity that nurtures you and guides you with its intuitive principles. Now is the time to become aware of, take excellent care of, and celebrate your magnificence. Here are some meanings of this card. Excuse me. One is balance your male energy with more female energy. It doesn't say balance your energy with female. It says balance your male energy with more female energy. Take steps to heal your sexuality. Super important. That's what, if you watched the video of me and Miriam, so important. Get the book, The Wild Feminine. It's huge. Enjoy being feminine. Huh, what a concept. Dance more often. We've talked about dance in session 2. Gentle reminder. Be receptive. In relationships, allow your softer side to come forward. Do not hide your femininity. And it says, for example, dress in a more feminine way. This is great. Okay, so that dressing in a feminine way thing is something that actually really helped me heal from many just life circumstances. And I remember when one of my coaches at the time encouraged me, because I had absolutely no libido, no connection to my sex whatsoever. And she encouraged me to cook dinner. First, she said, cook dinner naked. That was one thing. And like light candles and just imagine myself to be sensual, but I felt so disconnected from that. And then she told me to like dress up more often. And mind you, back in the day, I always used to dress up. In fact, I used to wear, layers of makeup before I was even 13 years old. So when I didn't need it, I was very much attached to, high heels, boots up to my knees, short skirts. Like I was the girl that was always known as like the slut growing up. Remember that girl? That was me. That being said, I kind of shoved all of that away after I was used and abused and various traumatic experiences. I said, peace out to that sexual woman. Let me become a yogi. So I also learned about materialism. Not really, it's like I love myself. Therefore, why do I need to dress a certain way in order to prove anything? And the truth about that and what it said on that card and activating our feminine energy is that if you do something mindfully, if there's, say, a pair of shoes you've been wanting or this dress that, some part of you says, oh God, no, I can't do that. Like I want to, but no, I'm either it's too revealing or or we're just used to covering ourselves or not expressing ourselves through what we wear. It can definitely be a powerful healing tool, because I will say that, I started getting my hair done again after years of not caring, after years of not buying clothes. I started to again, and it was hard, but it did something for me, because the way in which we present ourselves in the world says a lot about how we feel in our minds. When I was hiding behind, I just used to wear like blankets and shawls and big elephant pants, whatever you call them, Buddha pants. I still wear my Buddha pants, but I just, nothing tight, nothing revealing, nothing really feminine. In fact, all the clothing that I was wearing probably from, 22 to 26 years old was for a guy or a girl. It just didn't matter. Just throw it on. I didn't really care. I was against that. So changing that changed a lot. It reconnected me with my feminine energy. It made me feel sexier in my body. It wasn't for someone else. That's what's really important. When I was 14, 15, 16, 17 years old, it was all about impressing the outer world. Here, look at me in this. I have this, brand name this, whatever it is. I used to put bronzer. Anyone else did this in my cleavage so that it would like look like it was more cleavage. Literally, my roommate in college and I, we used to like put bronzer just so we could attract more men or more people. So it's different once you're conscientiously taking ownership of your sexuality or of whatever it is that makes you feel alive and sexual and vibrant and like a goddess. It's so important. So for some people, it is wearing certain clothes. For some people, it is walking in nature. For some, it might be decorating your house with a lot of plants and flowers. Flowers are sensual in their nature. They activate our senses. Listening to a certain type of music, doing a certain type of exercise. We talked about this in session 2, right? I mean, if I'm doing vigorous HIIT workouts every day, or vigorous like aerobic or linear military style workouts every day, and I'm feeling really masculine, or I'm just not able to surrender and relax and go with the flow, maybe it's time to take a dance class. Maybe it's time to back off the exercise and relax. This is the difference. I hope that makes sense. So today, self-care. So you probably have noticed that every single session is absolutely woven into the next. And we're here at this interesting culmination point because I want you guys to understand self-care, not just from this ethereal, more abstract explanation of it. Self-care is definitely a trendy word and phrase these days. And I want this to be something that like you guys really, really, it really lands and hits home like, oh, right? Like, because without it, nothing else can actually, this is kind of the glue that underlies every single other aspect of the gateway. Because if I'm not moving from a place of self-care, I'm most likely moving from a place of self-denial, of self-sabotage, of self-hate, of somehow being against self. Many of my motives back in the day, whether they were fitness or nutrition related, were actually fueled from self-hatred as opposed to self-care and self-love. I wasn't okay with who I was, and I was trying to change who I was. If we are operating from that mentality, nothing can actually change. So we have to start seeing ourselves as divine. We actually have to start connecting with something inside this incredible body temple that has been functioning perfectly up until this point. You're here, you're present for this session. There's something deeper that wants to be acknowledged, accepted, and then expressed. But if we're constantly battling ourselves, or if we're constantly trying to fix or change ourselves from a place of, and it's sometimes subconscious, it's not that obvious, but it's like, if the baseline is, I'm not okay with me. And I'm not saying that you have to pretend to love everything, but is there some sort of surrender? Okay, here I am now. I'm going to accept what is and build from there. Subtle but important. So self-care comes about in many ways, obviously from eating well, you take care of yourself, to exercising, the right type of exercise that works for your body, from having a practice. Daily rituals is another video that I gave you guys after the meditation section, so check that if you haven't already. But like literally knowing that without it, that nothing can thrive. If there's something we want, it's not all about going out and getting it. So just to paint the picture between the masculine and the masculine is like the go-getter. And mind you, we're not here to like kill the masculine. We're not here to cut that out. No. The tendency, at least with a lot of the women that I work with, is it's a very interesting blend, is that I tend to work with women who are very sensitive. We talked about this last week, sensitive and empathetic, and they're definitely like connected to their emotions. However, tend to operate in a very masculine way in their lives, whether they're CEOs of jobs, or they work 9 to 5, or they have kids and families and lots of, organizational type of life. So there's this interesting dichotomy happening. And so I just want to shift from that intense focus on the masculine, which is all about, checking off everything on the to-do list, lots of structure, lots of organization, to something less structured, something kind of like unpredictable, like to really be able to nurture and tend to the part of our soul that is not certain about the future, that has fantasies and imagination, and this incredible body that has so many sense receptors that actually is the key to unlocking our inner wisdom and unlocking our connection to something that's going to bring us power, purpose, and peace. So, a few ways that you can exercise self-love besides everything that we've covered so far includes, number one, is writing a pleasure list. I don't think we've talked about this in this round so far, but I know I've probably talked about it with some of you guys individually. But that being said, a pleasure list is the alternative to a to-do list. I'm not saying it's instead of, it's in addition to. A pleasure list is a list that you write, and I would absolutely suggest that you write one tonight if you can in your journal, or actually in a list form. If you do to-do lists in a calendar, make this something. I like doing a pleasure list on a piece of paper that I actually hang on my refrigerator. And the pleasure list can be a bullet point or a numbered list of things that bring you pleasure. Now, they don't have to be things that you're like, okay, I'm planning to do this on Monday. I'm planning to do this on Tuesday. No, my, what's more important is that you go to town with listing all the things that bring you pleasure. For example, I love it when my boyfriend rubs this little part of my neck, right where my hairline meets my neck. It's like he'll do it sometimes when I don't even know he's like going to, and it's just, oh, it just like melts my entire being. I love a lot of stuff about my boyfriend. I love when my boyfriend cooks Capellos for me. Capellos is this amazing gluten-free pasta, and once a week he makes me pasta dinner. So I come home from teaching yoga and I just love eating that food. I love my daily walk in the canal. I love tropical environments, like really warm, moist, tropical environments with coconuts and palm trees and oceans. So, okay, I'm going to stop because now if I don't stop myself, it'll be an hour and a half from now. I'll still be listing everything. So this is less about like figuring out when you're going to do all this stuff, and it's more about activating a part of your brain receptors that are tuned in to pleasure. Because the more that we operate from a place of pleasure and desire, if you study the law of attraction, and this is not just hippie woo-woo, this is literally reprogramming of your biocomputer, synapses in your brain, and neurological functioning, the more that we wire ourselves for pleasure by focusing on it, the more we begin to see that revealing itself to us in our daily lives. We cannot wait for something good to happen before we get happy. We have to start to activate this incredible mechanism of our brain and start diving into those things. So write a list of all the things that make you happy. It can be the littlest thing to some sort of grandiose idea, some sort of, a vacation, a memory, a person, an experience, something physical, something that tastes good, food. I love my vegan ice cream, Kippies. I love what chocolate fudge and dried mulberries on top of it. Oh my God. Just thinking about it does something to my organism that starts bringing, like, pushing energy out, and therefore we receive more. This is crucial. And also it's a meditation. So you kind of kill two birds with one stone. As you're writing the pleasure list, that is a meditation in and of itself. Hang it on your refrigerator, look at it. Now, I'm saying you don't have to be listing things that you're going to do, but at the same time, try not to let it collect dust, right? If I'm only focused on the to-do list and I'm neglecting the pleasure list, why? Why are we not worthy of adding more of that? Of understanding that we deserve that, and not only deserve that, but we require that as fuel to continue serving and showing up in our lives as the best version of ourselves. So this is very important, especially for women. Pleasure ignites creativity. Pleasure ignites sensitivity. Pleasure ignites peace of mind and stress relief. So pleasure list is number one. Let's see. What else do we have here? So I have a couple of random things that are really cool and interesting. One, and I put this in my rituals video, I believe, is dry brushing. Dry brushing is a beautiful form of self-love. Dry brushing, if you don't have a dry brush, you can get one on Amazon, super cheap. I have one for my face and one for my body. Before going into the shower, or the bath, you take the brush, and it has these very coarse bristles. You start at the soles of your feet, and from the lower body up your legs, all the way up your belly, your butt, your yoni. Don't forget your boobs. Like, do not forget any body part. You will do the dry brushing in clockwise circles all the way up. This actually activates your lymphatic system. This reduces toxins, and it takes some time. It takes time to get to every nook and cranny and crevice in your body. And I will tell you one thing, it's very easy to say, well, I don't have enough time for that, or I'll do it later. I'm guilty of that, so I get it. I'm not, this is really just about acknowledging where we are and starting now. Skin brushing is an act of self-love because it requires you to be intimate, to be present with your body, and it is very detoxifying. It actually can enhance healthy weight loss, better digestion, improved elasticity and skin tone, soft skin. It releases dead skin cells. So it's one of those things, like if you think of a snake shedding her skin, so we do that naturally in certain ways, but skin brushing is a wonderful way to just clear out that layer. You'll feel, I sometimes feel energy, I feel pulsing, I feel like vibrating electricity after I do skin brushing. Then you go in the shower. There are also wet brushes, meaning they're brushes that are made for when you're in the shower. You can use them, or in the bath. In fact, taking baths is also on the list. Carve out time to take a bath. It's very nourishing. Being in water is very healing, especially for the feminine energy. So something that really submerges your body into water, whether you live by an ocean, you take a bath, a river, or just simply drink more water. Literally, it's all connected. So that's another way of really activating this feminine aspect of self-love and self-care. So I want to talk a little bit about, and mind you, if you have questions, obviously at the end, shoot me a line in the chat box. This self-massage. Self-massage is something, because I always talk to women and people in general about like self-care, and people will come up to me after yoga and talk to me about all these pains they have in their bodies and yoga is not helping, or what can they do? And honestly, I probably like 10 times a week I ask people, do you get massages? Oh no, I can't afford massages. Or it's been like 5 years. So I get it. Part of stepping into abundance is like just getting one anyway, even if you think that it's too much. And I have secrets as to how to find very affordable and very good quality massages. And I bring my own oil with me because I don't like oil with toxins in it. That being said, you don't have to go somewhere. You can give yourself a massage, and it'll be just as, I'm going to say therapeutic. It might not be as enjoyable, but it could be, because part massage, what do you think, well, in your mind, are the two most therapeutic and powerful places to receive massage for a woman? I'll say 3, but I'm not talking about the yoni. The yoni is definitely important. You can read about that in Wild Feminine. You can hear more about that in the talk with Miriam. But other than that, an everyday massage, 2 most important parts of the body are belly and breasts. Belly and breasts. As women, we have breasts. I don't care if they're big, small, whatever has happened to these boobies, we've got them anatomically. And if you think about how women are designed, anatomy-wise, we have 2 breasts that go out, right? Men have breasts, but they don't go out for the most part, right? They're flat. They do have a penis that goes out, but we don't have that. We have that goes in. So there's something, and I talk to women a lot who feel like they're constantly giving. The breasts are symbolic of nurturing. They're literally here to provide our offspring with nourishment, with food, with milk, with sustenance, with life force. There's so much energy stored, or at least that these breasts are designed for nourishing the outer world. Many women tend to take on more than they can handle, and they're constantly helping or serving others outside of them. And it's easy when we've got these little arrows pointing out, 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 serve, serve, serve. This is some of the power of being a woman, is we are powerful. We do have this capacity to give, to nourish the world, but not at the sake of our own nourishment. Sometimes before I have a busy day, I just need to like hold my boobs and close my eyes and tune in and bring some of that out energy to myself. So breast massage is amazing. Some of you guys aren't going to be able to see, but you start on the inside, you go out, around, to the sides, down, in, out, and around. There's no way to do it wrong. I use the palms of my hands, sometimes the heels of my hands, and you go clockwise or counterclockwise. I actually do one round one way and then another round the other way. And then, and you can use oils. I suggest using some sort of either coconut oil, sesame oil, almond oil, something organic and wholesome that you can use to massage your breasts. Another breast massage technique is the jiggles. You just cup the palms underneath your boobies and you just jiggle them, jiggle them, jiggle them, jiggle them, jiggle them. Especially if you wear like really tight bras or underwire. My suggestion is like let them hang and jiggle them around and like do funny things with them. This is also, there's so much accumulated lymph and toxins that get caught here, especially in the lymph glands underneath the armpit and the side of the breast. And we don't move this energy around. Oftentimes, these life givers are like contracted behind a bra or neglected in some way or only used as either a milking device or a sexual, for a partner. So you actually could potentially become turned on by doing it, which is great. Then you can breathe and think of all the amazing things you're manifesting in your life because your sexual energy is connected to your manifesting. What type of oil do you bring to your massage? I bring an Ayurvedic oil that I get. It's actually Sarada Ayurvedics. It's daily nourishing oil. But if I don't have that, I would bring coconut oil. Those are my two go-tos. But my Sarada Ayurvedics, I've been ordering it. It's not cheap, but I'm like addicted. I feel like, and this is actually another bullet point on my list for you guys is after the shower, some of you probably already do this, but like is to cover yourself in oil. This is actually an Ayurvedic ritual called Abhyanga. Abhyanga is basically means massaging yourself with oil. It's great as a protective layer. So if you're using a good quality oil, first of all, the benefits of it are going to go into your bloodstream. So this daily nourishing oil that I use, it has like, I don't know, it says on the label, it has like 88 powerful herbs. They're all like for balancing out your dosha, your body type, and eliminating toxins and purifying your skin. And I mean, wow. So I'm addicted to it. So it also serves as a barrier, as an energetic layer. So yes, it takes time to lather up your body after a shower. The other day, I'll give you an example. The other day, I have a sauna at my house. I went into my sauna. I lost track of time, and I had to teach a yoga class. Now, I can't go from the sauna to go teach. I have to shower. Obviously, I'm dripping sweat. And I took a shower. I literally had no time. Normally, my rituals are so ingrained. My daily oiling my body ritual, it takes like a good, 7 minutes because I go to my feet, I oil my toes, I oil my ankles, I put extra oil on my knees, yoni, my back, my butt, like my whole body. I feel like I have to get everything. And I didn't oil myself that day. And I put on my pants, I went on the door, and I felt frazzled. And this is especially for those of you who did the highly sensitive person test and you are highly sensitive, notice the difference. If you lather yourself with oil before getting dressed, I feel like it's an energetic barrier. I'm not as affected by the energies of the world. I feel like I have this layer of protection, of nourishment between me and the world. And I've taken care of this body before I go and take care of everyone else. Do you see what I'm saying? How self-love and self-care have to come first. And it shows up not just in theoretically, oh yeah, I love myself. I love myself. I guess I love myself. I like my hair today. No, it's not. It's not. That's not self-love. That's conditional, acceptance of what is. This is more about like action, taking action every single day, taking the time for you. And these are, I'm trying to give you guys like the basics that I think are available for everybody, no matter what. So dry brushing before the shower and oiling yourself after the shower or the bath. So great. I hope that lands because these are like, mind you, these are, what do you call it? Not no-brainers, but these are like, there's a term for it, but it basically means like, I don't compromise around this. This is happening every single day for me, no matter what. And that day where I didn't have enough time to teach is probably the only time I haven't oiled myself. Like I this is probably a crazy Shayna quirk, but like I literally get anxiety if I like don't have an oil around me at all times for after my showers. Like if I'm traveling like to Bali, I remember I was in Bali and I literally had like the taxi driver go to the market and get me coconut oil because like, no, after my shower, I need oil. Otherwise so don't be anal about it, but hopefully some of that lands. Um, uh, Self-massage, breast massage is huge. You can Google breast massage also, and you'll get a lot. A lot of this is not just about, oh, this feels good. This actually can be preventative. I believe that breast massage and self-massage is preventative around many different ailments, anxiety, obesity, tumors, stuck energy, depression. So please know that this is not just for the sake of, okay, I'm doing this thing, she said. Like, really know that these are actually coming from ancient sources and scientific research as well. I would just say something for the heck of it. Oil pulling is another self-care ritual. Flossing your teeth, obviously, is really important for not only your oral hygiene, but flossing also contributes to your abdominal, your gut flora, because a lot of the mouth bacteria also contributes to gut bacteria. So oil pulling, I use coconut oil or raw sesame seed oil, and you take about a tablespoon in your mouth and go like that. You literally just swish it around. 10 minutes, 10 to 15. Don't overdo it, but 10 minutes is great. I do it while I'm just writing emails at night. There's no excuse while you can't. It's actually great because it's also a meditation. It's like, sorry guys, I can't talk for 10 minutes. I'm going to be swishing. And then you spit it out. And then I use a water pick with hydrogen peroxide to get in between. It's really important. And I also use a tongue scraper. I don't know if you've heard of a tongue scraper, but if not, you can also get that on Amazon for like $5. It looks like a horseshoe. It's metal shape, and it's an Ayurvedic tool that you just hold the two ends of it with your hand and get that metal horseshoe, and just from the back of the tongue, slide it to the front. And that top layer of bacteria on the tongue is removed, and that removes cravings. A lot of our cravings are caused from old residue of food that are stuck either to the gum lining or the tongue, the surface layer of the tongue. So if you have cravings, or if you feel like you snack in between meals and you don't want to, why not brush your teeth, use a tongue scraper, and no more cravings. It's that easy, I promise. So that's another thing. It's just oral hygiene is a beautiful act of self-care. We talked about self-massage. We talked about breast massage, dry brushing, oil on your body, oil pulling. Sleep rituals. It's important to put the computer off. I used to say 3 hours. That was back in the day before people were as addicted to their devices, myself included, but at least an hour before bed. I have a shifting of gears, and that's reading. I read every night before bed, even if I don't feel like it, even if I feel exhausted. Reading calms my nerves. It's important to read something that goes directly into your soul, as opposed to a murder mystery or a science fiction or some sort of book that involves your brain to have to think. So I recommend books like Thich Nhat Hanh, who I talked to you guys about during our meditation session. I'm just putting him here. Or Osho, for me, always just calms me right before bed. These are also meditations. You can meditate for 5 minutes before bed. You can use essential oils. I love using essential oils for bedtime, but having a sleep routine is really important because during dream time, a lot is happening on very many different layers, physically, energetically, and to just go from either watching TV or eating food or doing emails to sleep doesn't allow us to actually restore our nervous system to the extent that we can be. And if our nervous system is not replenishing itself as optimally, then we're not going to feel as connected to our true purpose in our waking life. So another sleep ritual that I think I shared with you guys, but if not, is humming. before bed is lying on your back and taking a breath in. I'm going to stop because it's going to be a very long hum if I don't stop. And just relaxing your jaw, relaxing your tongue, relaxing your lips, and humming. Sometimes I feel it vibrating in my heart. Sometimes I feel it in my belly. It actually can vibrate in different chakras if you get really sensitive to it. It's also really good if you have insomnia. So like it's a deep inhale and then a humming. Sound vibration also reprograms neurological functioning, and especially in our day and age with so much technology, it's just one step. If you do use a computer right before bed or the phone, get blue blockers. Blue blockers. They're glasses that you can wear. They look really funny. I think they have an orange lens, and they block the EMFs, the radiation from computers and phones that can damage our neurological functioning. So you just want to be aware of that, or at least reduce your amount. I'm telling you, you will not miss it. I took a self-care act a couple weeks ago, and as much as I love social media and media in general, I was aware that like I was clicking on Instagram without consciously choosing to, and my finger would just go to it, and it's like, how did I get here? It's like, I don't mindlessly eat anymore. I don't mindlessly really do anything except like, oh my gosh, I'm back on Instagram. So I moved the actual image, the actual app, 2 screens over on my iPhone. So it now requires me to swipe twice in order to get to it, to click on it. And I literally feel like I have more space. I feel like my digestion has improved. It's a weird thing. So do not underestimate like how much, like, are you organized in your calendars? Are you carving out time away from the computer? Because I'm telling you, if you do that, it won't exist anymore. And when you get back to it, you'll realize that you didn't miss anything. I'm not telling you just throw away your work, but be honest with yourself. Are you balancing out your work life and your to-dos and the time in front of the screen and consumption of media with just tuning it out and getting in touch with your own connection, your own inner Wi-Fi, right? Like literally there is electricity happening in this body at all times. And it's worth it to take the time to nourish yourself in every way possible. So let's see. Getting into nature is another one that I have here, and that is a very phenomenal act of self-love, especially for women, because nature is healing. Being by water, sometimes being by a mountain is just what the doctor ordered. So scheduling a weekend getaway, either by yourself, with a group of women, with your lover, with your children, maybe not with your children. They're just kidding. But if depending on the relationship you have, if it nourishes you and it doesn't cause you to expend your energy in a negative way, then absolutely. I'm into going away alone, just even for a day, hiking, going to a place in the mountains where I can get away, going on a yoga retreat or a retreat in general to just nourish your soul. Literally, we all need soul nourishment. We all need to connect with nature again, because just being in nature does something. I had a woman come to a yoga retreat I held in Bali a while ago. I actually used to live with her in New York City. She actually did the Gateway. She actually did the first round of Gateway. And she is a big fashion designer in New York. She lives in a little apartment. I lived with her. She actually moved to Brooklyn now, but lives in New York City, totally like a New York City, like busy, 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 CEO, that type, right? And she has been wanting to connect with her feminine. She had this like just an inkling that even though she was super successful doing business, like really like up there in the big fashion industry, there was some part of her soul that wasn't being nourished. And it was coming out in a way of binge eating and just overworking. And it was just stress ultimately. And she had no idea what to expect on this retreat. She signed up for it. She got to Bali and she started bawling. The first night of the retreat, she was crying hysterically, because she could feel that the nature around her was opening her up. She said, I knew it. I knew it intuitively. All I needed to do was land here, and everything's already happening. So there's something important about nature, and it doesn't require you to get onto an airplane or spend money. There's nature all around, and connecting with it, watching her beauty, especially now, it's springtime. Like, get out there, look at flowers, smell flowers, listen to the birds. Let that activate your own inner nature. Like, let that calm your nervous system to such an extent that peace arises, the type of peace that does not come from a temporary pleasure, the type of peace that there's this resounding inner yes. Like, I know who I am. I'm confident with who I am. This body is a divine temple. I'm going to nourish and nurture her every single day, because there's more. There's more that's available than just what I'm experiencing on the surface. I really want you guys to know that. Oh my goodness, this is a lot of information. I want to switch it up and ask you guys if you have any questions about self-care or self-love. I told you guys this is going to spill over from last week's session. It's all connected, but I want to just hammer this in as much as possible, because I'll say one more thing. Self-love and self-care is something that I always thought I was doing when I was doing yoga every single day and eating a strict vegan diet and meditating for 20 minutes a day. But again, I was moving from like, I should be doing this. It wasn't coming out of my heart. So when I talk about pleasure, this is the difference. This is why I'm not just, a life coach talking about everything that you've heard already. I'm talking about something coming from a place of yes, of this is what I really, truly want. This is what really, truly feels nourishing for me. But it's a constant, it requires constant like checking yourself, right? Because there's many, many clever justifications that our minds can make around why we should go out there and be there for others, or why we should just take on that extra job or that extra opportunity because of something that usually has to do with the ego. So saying no is a powerful and incredibly liberating way of taking care of yourself. Saying no when you mean no is actually yes. Does that make sense? Because if I feel like I should say yes, but in my body, like if someone asks me to hang out, I say yes because I feel like I should, or I don't want them to feel offended. That is toxic for you, for us. Whereas if I really don't feel like I want to do something, even though I may, oh gosh, I should say yes, I say no, I can't. That's a yes, because you're honoring your truth. So speaking your truth is the ultimate form of self-care. Saying no without needing to apologize or give an excuse is also a high form of evolution. Meaning, someone asked me to go to a birthday party last night, and I knew I didn't want to. I had a very busy weekend. The last thing I want to do is talk to people. Even though I love this person, I just felt like I had to zip it for the night, stay inside, cook, listen to mantras. I actually was listening to the Gateway Meditation playlist that I gave you guys. I just couldn't be around people. I know myself. And the old Shana would have said, sure, I'll come. And then an hour before say, oh, I'm like not really feeling well. Sorry, I can't make it. So all of that. Excuse, not feeling well, and apology, sorry. And I lied first. I said yes, knowing that I didn't want to, as if, oh, maybe my mood will change. No, it's not going to change. I know myself. So I caught myself. This is where meditation practice can help us accelerate our turnaround time back to truth. And the moment she asked me, can you come to the birthday party tonight? I said, no, I can't. Thank you so much for the invite. That's it. And guess what? She still loves me. She didn't get offended. No does not mean anything negative. So if you receive a no from someone, to the extent that you can receive a no and say thank you to that no, trust that that no is bringing you to a new yes, the easier it's going to be to express your no. That is a powerful practice. it's changed my life in terms of me being too generous with my energy and my time, and actually knowing what my boundaries are. So speaking your truth, knowing your boundaries, important. Self-care, knowing when to say yes and when to say no. All right, I'm going to say no to talking more so that you guys can ask a question. Does this resonate? What's the first thing you're going to do? What's something else? Do you guys have anything else that you do as self-care practice? I know some of you guys just like listening to these. It's great. And we talk during the week on our Facebook group. But just in case there's something that I can add now. And when I say that everything's woven in, I mean this. Like, I freak myself out sometimes because I'll be like, I just want to take care of myself. Okay, so I have products online. I have Gateway. I have another product that I sell to yoga teachers. And I do like, I go through these spurts. I'll do a lot of work on my yoga business, like my e-course. And then I'll get really turned off to like the computer, to the internet. And I'll literally be like, okay, I need my self-care time now. And I'll do things that like don't make sense because with my time, well, I could be working on that. I could be writing this. I could be developing this content. But instead I'll go get a massage or I'll cook. Cooking is one of my go-tos. When I feel like I should be doing work, I cook instead. And I don't even like to talk about it, but because we're in the inner circle, I'll share this with you. This happens whenever I follow my yes, whenever I follow a desire. I'll come to my computer after cooking. I'll come to my computer or my phone after getting a massage, and I'll have 3 sales. I'll have 3 new sales. And all my efforts to like try to get sales, like while I'm really trying, I'm always feeling like a lack. I'm always feeling like I don't have it yet. I don't have enough. So I have to work harder. I have to develop new advertising techniques. I have to study this. I have to invest in this ad, whatever it is. And that's usually coming from like a feeling that I'm not doing enough. But the moment that I really like, not fuck it, but just say, I'm just going to do something for me. I'm going to go in my sauna. I swear to you, more times than not, there's money in my inbox waiting for me when I get back. Pretend you didn't hear me say that. I mean that, because part of the yogic philosophy is like, don't get attached to this, but these are part of the miracles of being. And we're going to talk more about that next week. Hopefully it's not too out there. I'm going to get to this question. And before I get to the question, I had this come up for me in the middle of the night, like 2 nights ago, in regards to this session. Please note that these 7 weeks, like the first 3 weeks are very tangible. We're talking about food. We're talking about fitness. We're talking, okay, meditation. Okay, so as we get into these deeper layers, please know that it's much more subtle. It's not as tangible. So that's why I always say, be open. Come back to these sessions later. My fiance would benefit so much from yoga, meditation, and so many other things we have talked about in these sessions. Over the years, I've gotten him to attend yoga sometimes and eat healthier sometimes, but there is still such a long way to go. Do you have any thoughts on making other people come to these teachings without nagging? The other ladies here. Okay, and then Mia relates to this. Thank you so much for bringing this up. Oh, my goodness. First of all, I acknowledge you for your love and your empathy and your desire and your desire to heal, to be a healer. And activate others, and especially the people that you love's innate healer. There's the only way that you can, quote unquote, get others to be healthier is truly by being an example. It's just by taking care of yourself. It's the only way. And there's ways of, we have to accept people where they are. You can see that this hits home for me because it does with my dad. My dad had cancer. I tried to get him to adopt a healthier diet, vice versa, all this stuff. And that was when our relationship was horrible. And as I started, this was a while ago, as I started demonstrating healthy eating behavior, slowly but surely he would become curious. It was slow, but he'd ask questions. If he knew that I was waiting for him to change, he would have actually done the opposite. He used to like bring home like donuts and bagels on purpose. And I'm like, oh my God, I would be sneaky and I would leave these articles on the kitchen table for him to read about the connection between like cancer and an unhealthy diet or something like that. And that would push him further away. With a significant other, I think it's even trickier territory. I'm very grateful that my partner and I eat very healthy. However, I do think that he's sensitive to gluten and he eats gluten every single day. I've accepted it. I've chosen to accept it because every time we talk about it, we fight, and I'd rather not fight. I've accepted that he's on his own journey and his rate of evolution of these things clicking might be a little bit slower. And I honor that because I love him unconditionally. I married a man who is complete opposite. I chose this man because I knew he would take me on adventures in nature, specifically the mountains. Nothing else mattered. I lead by example. That's beautiful. I love you. That's beautiful. Yeah, I mean, I think that there's something, it's important to remember there's something that connects you to your partner in the first place. There's this energy. There is definitely like nurture that. Nurture that. Always go to that. It's so easy to see the potential in people, but if you soften, this is the power of Aphrodite, is that softening into the feminine. We think that if we're just a little bit more aggressive, if we just tell them one more time, or if we just, hello, like, don't you know, that outward energy, right? What if I were softer? I can guarantee, especially for those of you who have partners who you are nagging them, and I've been a nagger before, so I know how it is. And I have a lot of proof to back up my nagging. Hey, I'm healthy. Hey, you're nagging. It's not going to get through to me if you're doing it that way. So I'll just eat healthy. My partner and I, when we started, I would cook my own food with full confidence. The other day, because he does eat regular pasta. That's been our own thing. Like which is fine if you're okay with it. But for him specifically, I think he's sensitive to it, and he just doesn't want to hear me. He's like, "I'll eat my pasta. I'm eating my bread. Don't even say anything." I'm like, "Whoa." But so I talk about stuff to him sometimes, or I'll just say, "Oh my God, this is how I felt." The other day, I come home and there's like this huge box, and I'm like, "What is that?" And he's like, "Oh, it's like these supplements." And I'm like, "What supplements?" And they're like these probiotic and like colon cleanse and like probiotic supplements. And he found them because I was talking about the ketogenic diet, and he started like researching keto, like without telling me. And then he's found some video. It was like a sales video, and he bought these things. I was like, "You're going to do that?" And we're both going to do a cleanse together. That is actually not the one I posted in the Facebook group, but it's another cleanse that I'm doing. But like he's not gonna soften until I soften. I say if you're hearing this, you're probably the one who's gonna have to soften up first, and then he will. I hope that I'm not eating Utz when he is half a bag in. Utz, oh my God, that brings me back. Getting in bed with the phone. He catches on because he respects. He adores you, and he will totally honor what you're doing in his own manner. That's true. And honestly, I think that's more true than it would be for like another type of family member or person in your life. I think that our male partners, like men, especially in intimate relationships, they want to like please the goddess. When she's standing in her power and she's like, well, I'm going to eat this and I'm going to love it and I'm going to nourish myself, and you do you, right? Like there's something especially about the male energy that wants that receptive nature, and it's going to kind of say, what are you doing? I want some of that, because you're so relaxed in your being. It's subtle. And communication. We talked about this a little bit last week in terms of like setting aside time to not be in the nagging thing and set up sacred space. If you are truly concerned about your partner, set up a time to talk to him or her and get your message out. And then also get his, you may say, honey, here, I understand that sometimes I come across as nagging. It's not my intention. I love you so much, and I want you to be healthy. And I apologize if I feel naggy. And I just, you know, um, sometimes feel like I get sad at the thought of, one day you being sick. And I really want to honor what you like, so you can really like get into your own emotional state as opposed to what they're doing wrong. And then let him listen, and then let him speak without interrupting, or her. Let that other person, your beloved, share. I mean, maybe there's something, maybe they feel stressed and the eating is the only thing that's calming their nerves right now. And, you guys get to connect in greater intimacy after hearing each other's deeper why, because there's always a reason that someone's eating unhealthy and not practicing yoga. It's a deeper, more spiritual reason, like as their own person, as their own soul. There's something there, right? And so you as a healer, that deep down, there's the potential to evolve. So to be able to ask questions and really hold space for the deeper why that's the powerful feminine goddess that you are, right? Because to be able to listen and to be able to give somebody, especially your beloved, an opportunity to just be who they are, because everything's always changing. I just notice that the more I push someone, the more that they go away from me. The more I accept, the healthier they become. Literally every time. You are so welcome. Oh my God, it's an hour on the dot. This seems like it's been a lifetime. Bless you all. You are magical goddesses. I think this is such a deep session. I don't like the sensitivity thing is beyond, because I can feel the energy through the screens. But please, if there are extra questions, send me an email, put a message in the Facebook group. I really want to bring more women together to talk on these topics, because it's endless. Take care of yourselves this week. Share what you're doing. Inspire everybody, because you inspire me to take these steps seriously every single moment. Have a beautiful night, beautiful day, wherever you are. I love you, and I can't wait for session 7. OMG. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.